we've had some pretty good response when we've debunked juvenile, absolutist libertarian ideals in the past. You'll remember a while back we talked about, is slavery or is taxation a form of slavery? This is a common refrain from some libertarians. We debunked that. The reaction was huge on both sides, people agreeing and disagreeing. So we're going to do another one here, okay, which is that libertarians are against men with guns using force to enforce the law, okay? So many libertarians, as proof that the government is oppressive or an illegal force, will say, you know what? If you don't do what the government says, whether it's taxation, whether it's following certain rules, whatever the case may be, ultimately, they send men with guns to force you into doing it. And that, by definition, is oppressive and a sign that government is completely illegitimate. So let's explore that, right? If you don't pay taxes, eventually someone will show up at your house with guns, they'll take you into custody, and they'll put you in jail, and you won't be able to run away because they have guns and they're physically restraining you. And that is, of course, bad. This is not a spontaneous initiation of force, right? This is the enforcement of a social contract. This is, in this particular case with taxation, it's a very explicit social contract. Many libertarians will make a big deal out of the men with guns enforcing laws, yet they overlook the fact that men with guns are the basis of enforcement for any social system. If you think of the libertarian social system, right? Everybody fends for themselves. You delineate and protect your property. You are in charge of your own security for people not stealing stuff from you. All of that stuff. You would also be doing the enforcement with guns, and it is arbitrary to say that it would be more or less legitimate for those individuals to be using those exact same guns to enforce their security or their land ownership. This is an obvious, Lewis, blind spot for this absolutist libertarian allegation about men with guns using force.
Right. Also, the guns are really there as a precautionary measure in case you don't comply. It's not like the guns are drawn. And also, chances are the men with guns aren't going to show up on your first tax offense.
Well, that's exactly right. The social contract, right? Some will deny they're participating in a social contract by using government roads or working and owing taxes as a result of working or whatever the case may be. But they've benefited from the government assistance and infrastructure. Everything they own was delivered on government maintained and built roads. They presumably, if they have a job, they earn a living from a company that is at least to some extent regulated by the government. The reason their employer can't make them work 150 hours a week is because of the government. They aren't, they've received the exact same benefits as everybody else. So then to say that in spite of all of the benefits and protections that the government has provided them specifically, they are against the government using guns to enforce any laws, it is so utterly hypocritical and juvenile.
It is. It really is silly, but you're not going to convince them of anything, David. They are very strongly, or can I say fervent? They're fervent about this.
Yeah, and they're basically, in essence, they're trying to be freeloaders, right? They are participating in the society that the government is an integral part of, whether it's the providing of security, whether it's labor law, roads, utilities, etc. They're receiving all the benefits, but somehow they don't want to be participating in what funds that. Go ahead.
Maybe they don't even think about it. Maybe you'd have to say to them, well, try living your life for a week or a month without using anything that the government provides you in any way, shape, or form.
And if they say that I can't really do it in this country, then you say, well, you have the choice to find a different country. If you can't find a different country where that's the case, maybe you need to reconsider whether it's really a good system if absolutely no country has adopted it. And if you look at the countries that are closer to what you would call an absolute libertarian state of affairs, I don't think they're places you would really like to live.
Right. Also, although perhaps not legally, you are free to roam into the wilderness of Montana, live completely off the grid and fend for yourself and not work. And I don't know, maybe that will work for a few of them.
It is your choice. Maybe you would avoid the men with guns enforcing any laws if you did that. Okay, let's take a break. We have a great Friday show for you today. I think you're really going to like today's interview, and you're also really going to like today's audience question segment. So stay tuned for that. Glad you're here with us on this Friday show. Second month going.